This film is part of a worldwide breast cancer awareness campaign, including a mobile app for illiterate women. www.DearMamma.org.
Cancer doesn't care if you're black or you're white. Cancer doesn't care if you're Christian or you're Jewish or you're Muslim.
It's an illness that doesn't discriminate.
And the fact that I had so much care and support definitely helped me.
I discovered I had breast cancer when I was 4 months pregnant with my youngest daughter.
It was a complete surprise. I wasn't ready.
I thought I was going to die. I didn't think I was going to live. This film collects the voices of women living with breast cancer in Africa, the Middle East and Europe. Starting point was a workshop at the Dead Sea with Jewish, Muslim and Christian women. From there we moved on and talked to doctors, nurses and husbands. Join us on our journey.
For us, you are heroes. We are just the helpers in all of this. And by sharing your story today and tomorrow, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of women worldwide, they will discover that they have breast cancer in a much earlier stage. And most important, they will have role models like you so that they see we can talk openly about it.
They don't tell cancer, and they don't say saratan. They would say that sickness. Or they would say like, it's something very far, it should be very far, it won't come to us.
They couldn't pronounce the word cancer. It was so... And when I got to the oncology department and saw so many, I said, where were they all hiding? I felt like they came out of their holes. I saw him and her and him, and everyone was there, people of all ages, and it's really sad.
What we have learned from the women who were affected by breast cancer, that as soon as they shared that they are ill, that they shared that they have fears and worries, what will happen to my children after me, that they feel so much better.
If I don't feel like talking about it, I can say no. But it really does give me a lot of freedom, and it makes me feel good to be able to share and possibly save lives by sharing.
There are indeed a lot of women who come here with signs of breast problems. We see about 2 cases a week. The women are often just coming in for a checkup. They don't know there's anything wrong with them.
I was taking a shower one day and I felt a lump in my breast.
When
the disease started, she came to tell me that it seemed she had breast cancer. It was through my wife's illness that I learned that breast cancer existed. I myself had never heard of it. The diagnosis of the disease is a protection to get treatment. It is not a cause for shame.
If I could call my fellow women all over the world, so I would encourage them, first of all, to overcome shame. To overcome shame when it relates to being examined by somebody else. Overcome shame of sharing the story, first of all, with a caregiver, because we know that the success rate depends on early diagnosis.
Early detection is the secret for cure. If we are late in detection, chances for advanced disease and death increase dramatically.
We as Jews believe that every human being was created in God's image and has received a body and a soul that is of tremendous value. Therefore, the Holy Torah, our Bible, teaches us that we are obligated to care about our own bodies, as is written, "V'nishmartem me'od lenafshotechem," you shall take great care to preserve your life.
The doctor said that we will have to remove the breast, and again, for lack of financial means, it took some time before I could get the operation. All in all, it took about 5 months to have the operation. I thought I was going to die. I did not think I was going to live.
The question no doctor wants to answer is, am I going to die? That's the question we often hear. And the problem with the women here is that if they think they're going to die from their breast cancer, they won't come back again. They'll leave and tell themselves that it's all over, so they won't come back for treatment. But we carefully explain to them that while it is a serious illness, it's an illness that can be treated.
It's very important to know that the treatment is usually not just surgery or just chemotherapy or radiation therapy. It's usually a combination of different modalities. Today, the aim of our treatment is to try to treat as simple as possible.
I encourage patients to ask specific questions to understand their illness, because if they themselves understand the disease, they can be a source of information to those around them. Neighbors, acquaintances, they all will give their support, even if it isn't financial support, moral support, encouragement, advice. All this helps a lot in living with the disease.
After the operation, I had quite a few people who visited me, who took time to chat with me. All the people around me, my parents, my brothers and sisters, nobody rejected me.
But with the support of other people, we have found that this is something that is going to pass.
Every woman should examine herself, not daily, but every few days, every week, every month at least.
I make the women aware of the fact that they can be looked after here. Breast cancer is something that needs to be prevented, at home, even elsewhere. I tell all female friends to check themselves, because it's an illness that's not easy to treat.
All I can do is tell my friends, and the ones close to them, to check their breasts regularly, and if they feel a knot, to go to the hospital. If it turns out to be cancer, an early detection can not only result in better treatment, but also it can hinder the spreading of the disease. That's the solution, because if it spreads, it's difficult to treat.
Women don't care enough about themselves. They care for their children, they care for their husbands, for their whole family, but not for themselves. And that is a major mistake.
Men need to understand that their wife's illness is usually their illness too, and that they need to support her financially, morally, in every way.
You do not have the right to leave your wife without a valid motive, and illness is not one of them. That's because it's the wife who is sick. And if it were the husband who was sick, would the wife leave him? We have had 5 children together. One is dead. I have 3 grandchildren. So, if I left my wife, I would have been abandoning myself. Yes, I would have been abandoning myself.
I see a huge difference between those women who have support from their family, from their husbands, and those who don't. A huge difference. They have much better chances to be cured and to overcome all the periods of the illness successfully.
There is an international language between the women they fight cancer. They have body language. Each of them, she know what the other feel.
Breast cancer, it just doesn't discriminate. It becomes a great equalizer. And I see this phenomenon in the waiting room of my department. There are women of means, there are women who are poor. There are women of an Arab background, there are Jewish women. There are multiple languages that are spoken there. But the common language that we're aware of is a language of fear. No one wants to be there, but they are there.
Here they all let go, and you could see that the looks don't count, nor the clothes, with or without scarf, secular or religious, Ethiopian, Arab, Jewish. When women want to talk, they know how. They have things to say, they have a presence.
So maybe cancer isn't such a curse. Maybe cancer isn't so evil. Maybe there is a true blessing in this terrible disease that can kill, but it can also bring us together.
Three years later.
And remember, there is one important message. Breast cancer is curable, but shame can kill.
In memory of our friends who succumbed to their cancer during the filming of this movie, this is for you, for your families, and for the millions of women you may have saved. We're deeply thankful to the brave women who shared their stories, their struggles, and their hopes. basic and reliable information about breast cancer, awareness and self-detection, free with our DearMamma app, available in multiple languages and for the first time for illiterate women. Download it now from the Google Play Store and share it with all your friends.